Hey, YouTube's React City. I'm John.
I'm Rose.
I'm Nikki.
And this is React Podcast. So, the fun fact this time is I've talked about Konosuba a few times. It's one of the funniest animes I've ever seen. And I wanted to talk about how ReZero, apparently the author, is good friends with the author of Konosuba.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to the point that they regularly spoke about how both of their shows were on the opposite ends of the isekai genre, where ReZero is very serious and very grounded. Konosuba is very light and supposed to be comedic. And there's an there's a panel in the movie of ReZero where you can actually see Beatrice reading Konosuba.
Oh, that's cute.
I just read that and I was like, okay, I don't remember seeing any manga, but I guess
neither.
she was reading something, and on the front you can see Konosuba.
I just remember her reading like very boring looking books.
Yeah.
I guess they snuck it in one of those.
That's funny.
But we finished A Silent Voice. That's
Yeah.
the first time we saw an anime movie.
Yeah.
And I think we all enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, it was
I
pretty
loved
good.
it.
Pretty good.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was my second-ish time watching it, because I think the first time I saw it, I didn't have the subs for some reason. But I watched it anyway. So
it was in another language and you just watched it?
it wasn't even another language. I think I just didn't have the subs.
So it was just Japanese.
Japanese audio.
It was another language.
Yes. Yeah, and I didn't understand anything because I was like, a lot of the things that I remember from the show aren't happening. Like I thought the little sister had a crush on him. I thought one other thing happened. And I'm just like, these things. Did I
Imagine them.
You just made up your own plot.
apparently
Basically. Basically.
But yeah, I watched the whole thing and
No, you didn't.
no,
No, you didn't.
almost. I watched my own thing.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's what happened.
You watched your own manga with some pretty pictures.
Pretty much.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's
I can't
2
believe.
hours.
How can you?
And I still picked up on the moon thing. I was actually still right about that.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if I could do that. Like, because I struggle. That's one of the things, like, with learning a language, you're supposed to, like, expose yourself to the language. And I struggle with watching things or listening to things that I cannot understand what they're saying. Like, you're supposed to do it, and I can't do it. It's just struggle bus. So, like, I can't imagine, like, no matter how interesting the pictures look, I can't imagine watching an anime with no subtitles.
Yeah.
I think you would enjoy it if it's something that you knew very well and you saw it without subtitles.
Well, yeah, that's different. I'm talking about, like, her situation.
Well, yeah,
Like
yeah.
the first
I'm just saying, like, if in general you have an issue with immersing yourself in another language, try it with something that you already know perfectly. I mean, like, you can recite it word for word. But remember, that's what I did with Star Wars. Remember
Yeah.
that?
Oh, wow, really?
Force Unleashed. Played it through like 7
Oh,
times.
yeah, and then you did it in French, right?
13
Oh, you did it
times.
in French? Oh, I remember you talked about this, but did you learn something?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Because I knew everything they were saying.
Yeah.
But
I love
yeah,
that game. But anyway.
that movie, since it's your first separate, completely anime movie, what did you think about that? Because I know you may have had some like preconceived notions.
I did. I think we've spoken about how I've watched Ponyo, and that's like a totally different, like,
Genre
it doesn't
and
even
everything.
feel like anime. It just feels like a cartoon from Japan. A cartoon show it doesn't feel like the anime genre. So I was, like, pleasantly surprised. I was happy that this anime was more in style of, like, anime. It was more anime because that's where my mind was, at. Because we've been watching anime. So I'm happy it's an anime movie. So there's that. But I did rate it what I rated it. And I was thinking, like, would my rating change? And the answer is no. I'd keep it that rating. Even though I did say it's aged well in terms of, like, over time after thinking about it. I like it more.
Yeah.
But I still can't give it more than what I gave it.
Okay.
It's still good. It's still
Yeah.
good. Yeah, my reasons for not giving it as high a rating as you guys was because of the emotional, like, impact that it gave me. I can take emotional drama. I don't like it, but I can take it. There's some shows that something about the air of the show makes me feel more safe. Like, I'm thinking, like, My Hero Academia. Like, I consider that an S tier anime, right? JJK is an S tier too. Although that last season would probably shake me a little bit in terms of, like, recommending it, but I still, because of my ties to it how I've been watching it for so long, I can still give it a high grade. This, because it's an anime, I'm just being introduced to it. I literally only know these characters for 2 hours. I don't feel that tied to it that I'd have to, like, give it this super high rating, so I gave it a decent rating. But still, just my emotional self.
Yeah.
Just the type of person I am. Like I couldn't watch it again.
Wow.
I couldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. I expected a worse reaction out of you.
Really?
Yeah, but seeing the movie, seeing all the story beats, I could see it being a feel-good movie. For some people. But for some, it would be also an emotional roller coaster, because for a lot of the movie, it's just painful.
Yeah.
Like for the first part of the movie, you're dealing with a guy who you're seeing his entire childhood being ruined.
Yeah.
And then he nearly dies. And then for the rest of it, he's trying to get redemption, gets rejected, and then he ruins it for himself. So it's like, it's really rough on you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very emotionally roller coastery. It's just so emotional everywhere we're going. So, but I still think it was a good movie, and for being the first movie to watch, I feel like it's a good dipping of the toes in the watery. You know, I don't know where my words are going right now. It's a good dip of. Let me just drop
Dipping
that
your
metaphor.
toe in the water.
It's a good entrance into anime movie worlds.
Okay.
In terms because of emotions, I just feel like they're all gonna be roller coasters in some way.
Oh, 100%.
So I think this is a good introduction into. I feel like this is probably tame compared to what's out there, like of good ones, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like I just have to brace myself. So I'm happy that this was the first one.
The only other one that I know of that's probably really good to watch is Your Name, and you haven't seen that one either.
I haven't, no.
That's one I've seen people react to it, but I've never actually seen the whole thing. But I know we would enjoy that one. But I know for the most part, anime movies tend to be a bit more dramatic.
Yeah.
And they very often do end with bittersweet overtones. Have you seen a whole lot of other anime movies?
I haven't seen a ton, but the ones that I have seen, I wish I could remember what it's called. It was like the whole anime is about these people who their whole the job of absolutely everybody is to be like almost like an archivist about different information, and they're like constantly underground. Everybody is underground, and everybody kind of dreams of like what it would be like above ground. And then like eventually we figure out, oh, we're not on Earth, we are on Mars because we ruined the planet.
Oh, so that's why they're trying to archive. They're trying to keep in memory everything that they ruined.
Apparently, that's what you kind of learn in retrospect. And then, like at the end, it ends with like one of the characters like floating off to like, are you gonna come back down? Because like he makes it out and up, but it's like he's still going up.
Oh no!
And the movie ends.
Oh, so the reveal that you're on Mars is then?
Yes.
Wow, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
That would have been like a wow, but it sounds like it does not. That's not like a happy ending.
Sounds unfulfilling.
Yeah, it sounds very non-closure-y.
It's one of the it's a non-closure type movie, which is most of the experiences that I have with anime movies is that they usually end pretty open-ended. Like you can yourself think about what happens next, how they might feel about it, because they don't usually say what their conclusion is at the end or whatever, or if they're gonna change their mind. There's no hint about it, stuff like that. That's my experience with anime movies.
I get that sense in general with Eastern big media. A lot of it's trying to drive the audience to be more contemplative of what they're saying.
Yeah.
Where in the West it kind of gives you the question, then answers the question by the end of it. Or it has moral themes that it's trying to instill into the viewers. Whereas in East it kind of just presents a situation and it shows it in a light that makes you ask a question, but it will never give you a conclusion on that question.
Interesting.
Similarly, it's kind of similar to how South Korea, they do horror in this is supposed to be horrifying, and it will end very badly.
It'll end horrifying as well.
There is no happy, the main character figures out every situation, no action hero kind of thing. No, you're dead. This cave was cursed, you're told not to go in there. Now look what happened. That's what kind of it
Pretty
is.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, good experience. We're still trying to figure out how often we want to do the movies.
Yeah.
We're thinking maybe do them once a month just to start, and then as we go along, maybe eventually once we pick up an editor who can do a full movie, maybe just something like that, or find an editor who can pick up regular shows, and then I could dedicate all the time to the movie or something like that. So we're trying to juggle that around, but definitely what's going to happen is the patrons are going to elite patrons are going to get this way ahead of everyone else, and then regular patrons are going to get it, and then everyone's going to get it probably. But yeah, and other than that,
Have you guys ever? Well, I don't know about you. Haven't seen any other anime movies. Have you ever seen any other anime movie that you're like, this was a cool movie, but I could never get us to watch it like together because it's like not the other people's speed.
I am sure that I have, but I can't off the top of my head remember, because a lot of the movies that I've seen are in relation to an anime, and I don't realize that until oh wait, no, that was just an anime.
Yeah, I have
Because
one of those.
I have watched more movies in general recently that were not anime, and I did want to suggest some of them, but the problem is, I run into that issue where I can't recommend it because it's meant to be a movie where you are thinking about what's happening and it's not trying to satisfy you.
Yeah.
For instance, I'm trying to get mom and dad to watch Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you suggested that a couple times.
Now, it's not a contemplative movie, but it's in that vein of it doesn't give you a happy ending.
Because it's based off real life.
Based off real life, but a lot of the movies that I enjoy give you realistic of what would have happened. In this case, in Ford vs. Ferrari, something that happened in real life happened in the movie, and I know that would upset mom and dad a lot.
Oh.
But it makes it for a good movie. Just like how in A Silent Voice, a lot of characters who are there in the beginning, like his two best friends, they just don't come back.
Yeah.
Or they hint that we still don't like you, and his friendships, they're just gone. You know, and the whole Nauka thing, Nauka very likely had a huge crush on the main character, right? So, but they just don't pick those things up, and life moves on.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate those aspects of a movie because it makes me feel like this is actually something that could have happened.
Yeah.
You know? So I like movies like that, but mom and dad, they like movies that are like comedies, that are action films, that are very
But you don't have to
suspense and
think.
disbelief.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, and I think that's kind of I don't think it's a generational thing. I think it's a perspective thing. You go specifically for suspension of disbelief so that you can watch something that takes your mind off the real world. There's some people who go to movies and they see it as like going to the arcade. It's just for fun, right? And there's some people who go to movies like me who I want to see a pretty good story, and that story could involve anything. So I'm open to a lot more things. So it's just a different type of viewers.
That's interesting that you should say that, because I was going to ask a discussion question of based on what you like of long versus short, but let's go on this one first, because I was always wondered, like, why is it that I can't consume media the way you guys can so freely, like, hey, here's a random thing, let me see and watch it. Like, I'm so like scared to just pick up a show because I know myself. Like, I am an empath. Like, really, like, it's weird. I don't understand it because, like, when we're watching the anime, you're more likely to cry, right? But I'm more likely to stew on it for the rest of the evening and 3 more days after. So it's like I don't know if I just don't deal with emotions properly or what it is. I do think there's some sense of that. But when it comes to watching shows, I don't like to watch anything that is going to grab me and like
Shaking your heart.
throw thoughts into my head that I can't deal with or that I can't answer. So like that's why I don't like to watch romances, because I love of course. It's not like I don't like romance. I like romance. Romances know how to pull the heartstrings, right? That's why I like to watch action. Like, my favorite movie is Red. It's like, I love Red. Like, that's one show I can watch over and over and over and over. Like, you know how Dad watches Castle?
Yeah.
Like, I would sit there and watch Red like for 3 times in a row. I love Red. Like, both of them.
Too.
Both of them. Love them. Like, they come out with another one, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, I love that kind of action. And they have a romantic interest, but it's not romantic.
It's not that serious.
No, it's not that serious. In fact, they make a joke of it most of the time. I think the most emotional angst I had was when the girl came in.
The X.
The ex.
Yeah.
That was the
The
most
red
annoying
too.
part.
Yeah.
And she annoyed me.
Yeah.
It's like, how dare you? But that's just, like, I come back to say that because the way I consume media, I guess, is I'm like what you're saying, like people who want to just escape. I don't really want to remember you what I've done. And the truth is, like, my brain literally doesn't. That's why, like, you guys remember these intricate parts of shows, and I have no, what? That happened? What? Because that's just how my brain works. Like, I'm not going in there to sit with, I don't want to take it back with me. I just want to be there, enjoy it, and leave.
Yeah. But
It's funny because a big part of the issue is I've always noticed you take things on
Yeah.
way more than other people when we're watching media, but you do immediately forget it.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that's really troubling,
Yeah.
right? So it's just really weird that you
It's a
have
weird.
both those parts.
It's very weird.
but
And it could be a survival mechanism because my brain is like, this is taking too much resources. Dump it, dump it,
dump the cash. Remove cash.
Yeah, basically.
yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I have always seen watching media as I'm peering into a world and then I close that door and I move on. So, I mean, maybe that helps me out the way I see things. I don't know if that's kind of the way you see it because you kind of binge things easily.
Yeah, I do. It's like stepping into a world where I think it's also kind of like how I enjoy media because I've mentioned before how I like it when authors give me little bits of things that kind of like the Naoka thing where it seems like Naoka likes him, but there's nothing in the story that directly tells you that.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to take that in by osmosis, basically. Yeah. I like those kind of things in media, and that's kind of I just like to experience the world, see what's going on, and then I shut the door and I'm like, oh, what a great time.
Yeah.
What a good time. What a good vacation that was. And I think that's it. I wonder if it might be more of a generational thing because, like, with our parents, they're like part of the super hardworking generation, work yourself to the bone generation. But you know, when they come home, they don't want to have another experience where there's hard work. They just want to stop thinking. It's like entertain me, playwright. Go ahead, basically.
Yeah. That's interesting. I can see it being related to being a generational
Yeah, just
thing.
partially. Not everything.
Not 100%. Yeah. But it could play into it, I think. I think one thing that you do have is that you both of you have the ability to put it down. And I think that's the difference with me. Like, I can't put it down. My brain has to literally get tired of it. Yeah. It's like a song, like an earworm. You know, the show becomes an earworm for me.
Yeah.
Man, I hate that term.
Like, it's gross.
Yeah. But like, yeah, it's like whereas like we're watching something happen like over like, oh no, that happened, so terrible. But it's like for you, it's happening like right next to you. So like everything is like
I can
right
feel
there.
I can feel it in my soul.
Yeah, I don't experience that that way. You're empathizing. You're in the show once it's happening. No, and I'm just kind of wow, Subaru, wow, wow.
You've committed a cringe, Subaru.
You've committed a cringe.
I used to make this joke of like how, because I used to be able to cry easily. Like, I'm surprised at myself that I don't cry more with these animes. Is like an ad would be playing and they play in B minor. And I start to cry. And I kid you not, that's how I was as a kid. Like, if there was just sad music.
Wow.
And I just passed by and looked over and there was sad music, I start to tear up. That's how, like, emotionally, I just immediately latch on. Like, anything that is emotionally stirring, it very easily to like, affect me. But I don't know. These days, it's not like I don't. It's like I don't cry immediately anymore. But it still sticks with me. Like, I'm not even joking where something sticks in my head. I won't use that word anymore. Like, I will wake up in the morning, and it's like a record player. Just I keep repeating the scenes. I'm like, oh my gosh, you shouldn't have done that. It's like, I can't believe it. Stop thinking about it. And then I go to the show and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't remember. Yeah, he did that. Didn't it was stupid. And, like, it just like all morning. And the only thing that shuts it off for me is going to work and having to focus on something else. And like, I have to focus on the patient in front of me. I cannot think about this.
Dude, that's crazy. It's like it becomes a part of your life.
Yes.
And you need something that forces you to become a part of its life to get you out of it.
Yeah. I think I probably need to go to therapy or something.
Man. I mean...
Okay, you learned this from anime. All right.
I mean, hearing music and cheering up. I mean...
Well, that doesn't happen anymore.
No,
when I
but
was
it
a
happened
kid.
at one point. I'm just messing with it. I mean, when we started this channel, there were several animes that I specifically kept away from because I knew how emotional it was, mainly for you. And I'm glad I did. Because, I mean... there's some of them that eventually we did get around to watching. I can't think of them. we've seen so many animes. It's hard to just jump to
it. was Code Geass. I'm pretty sure.
I remember you warmed us up to Code Geass.
Yes, we dipped our toes there. I was really worried about ReZero because
Oh yeah, I remember he was like, I have the show. It's gonna do really well on the channel, but I don't know. You can tell me no. You can tell me no. I remember.
Yeah, I remember
JJK
that.
too. You were
JJK.
really scared about JJK giving us that one.
yeah, because I hadn't seen JJK, but you'd
You
seen it.
have.
But I could tell from the images that it's going to be a
it's-
darker show.
yeah.
But thankfully, I mean, that show really turned up.
But I think you had like a good sixth sense because of your method of introducing shows. Because I think I've gotten much better.
Yes, you have.
In terms of like even putting down the show after a while, like even as I say, I wake up in the morning and that's the first thing I think about. it goes away much faster. It
I remember it used to be like the whole
days.
week.
It used to be-
Yeah, it used to be days before I was able to forget about it.
Yeah, it'd be like the next week, and you're just like, oh my gosh, Lelouch.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. Code Geass really did me in.
Euphemia.
Euphemia. Oh.
Thankfully, we eventually got Suzaku.
Yes, exactly.
I think that kind of really tempered
That
it.
really helped.
It helps, yeah.
Water Suzaku.
But yeah, so I feel like you did good in terms of your pick of the shows in order. So I think even now, like when we're coming into the movies, yeah, we're gonna have movies that are gonna be difficult, but they're gonna be good for the channel, and I'm all about doing good for the channel. So I'm gonna be a good sport.
Yeah.
So we can keep trudging into the scary places.
Yeah. There's still some movies that I won't recommend. Like there's this one about like a werewolf guy who marries a regular woman.
Damn, well.
But like it like part of him is like still a wild animal, so he's like constantly feeling like whatever, like the call to the wild or whatever. And then like one day he's like, I can't stay anymore, and he just leaves.
Wow.
And then like her kids are like part werewolf as well.
So they're gonna leave too.
Well, it seems like the daughter doesn't, but the son, like he's like one day he comes back in his werewolf form, looks at his mom, and then she realizes he's not gonna come back.
I want to see that.
And he's like not even a high schooler.
What's the name of this movie?
I have no clue. Something werewolf. Wolfman something.
There can't be that many.
Wolfman.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Should be able to find it.
Yeah.
actually interesting.
Completely heartbreaking. You're gonna cry through the whole thing.
Wow.
Because like the daughter is also like struggling with like she's part werewolf.
She's
but
scared
like
that's gonna happen to her.
She's like also more to the human side. So she's trying to have these friendships, but she can't let anybody in too much because she's a werewolf.
She's afraid it's gonna happen to her.
Well, not that it's gonna happen to her, but like, what are they gonna think when she turns into a part wolf?
Oh.
You know, when a tail sprouts and she gets the ears and whatever.
Okay.
And like the mom is like constantly struggling with like, what if her husband comes back? What if her kids leave her? Like constantly throughout the whole thing. It's like, oh, I call those kind of things tear porn, because like the only thing it's there to do is hurt you, but you're there for it. It's like My Neighbor Kotaro, but like that's a different kind of thing, but different kind of hurt.
Oh.
Yeah,
Dude, is it
not
a
My Neighbor
good-looking-
Totoro, My Neighbor Kotaro, different thing.
I actually thought you were talking Totoro.
No.
Are they related movies?
No.
Oh my God.
Not at all.
Someone needs to be sued.
Right?
So how good does that anime look? Because I feel like
It looks spectacular.
Always.
Always.
It's beautiful.
Always. Whenever they're emotional, they go super deep into beauty. Do you think that's like they know that you will want to stare at the screen?
Well, if it's super emotional, you have to put the emotion on the screen too.
That's true. I guess it's hard to do it with like blocky, like less. What didn't you like even refer to? What show we are currently watching? I think which one? What is it?
Frieren?
No, it wasn't a show we're currently watching then. Oh, maybe it was Silent.
What did I say about it?
You said that the art made you think it wasn't going to be either too this serious or this good fighting. I can't remember. We
Oh,
just
we're
said
talking
that.
about
Solo leveling.
Solo leveling. Yeah. Where the art didn't start off feeling like it's going to be this brutal or this like the fighting was going to be that good. And so the art plays a big part in it, I guess, in
Huge.
terms of what you're going to expect in the emotions.
Yeah, I find emotional shows, if you have colors that kind of almost blend together, I don't know, there's a certain look to it where things flow together.
Yeah.
That makes emotion come through more.
I understand what you mean. I can't explain it
I
any
can't
better,
articulate
but
it.
I
That was
understand what you mean.
perfect. Chef's kiss.
So, like, think about like the first image on like Frierin's intro where she's lying there. Like all of the colors are pretty much the same, but it's still like you could look at it and be like, "Wow, that's beautiful." You know what I mean?
And it sets the tone, just visually. Yeah. I'm looking forward to more movies, but I'm gonna have to expand my horizons because I do think I might have to like pre-watch a few of them so that I'm kind of like the pseudo guide. Like
Yeah.
how we usually had one person see an anime, like how you seen 86, and so we watch it with her. So the idea being the person can kind of explain some things, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the case.
Or just vet it.
Vet it. Yeah.
So you can have some fun. Or maybe you could ask her first, because since she's accidentally watched many a movie, so you can be like, or maybe
just a
not,
few,
because
just a few.
I was gonna say maybe not, because she's also watched it without subtitles, and she'd tell you a totally different show. It's like,
No,
it's about this
That
little
was the
girl.
only one.
She has a crush. on-
It's one of the craziest things you've ever told me you've done.
It was when I was like totally like in the trenches of binging, and
Were you-
like I
Didn't even
needed
care.
it.
Didn't even care.
If you were saying you were trying to learn Japanese, completely different story. But you legitimately had a wallpaper that speaks on another screen, and you made up an entire story. Like, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
I don't know what to tell you. I've done it
have no
before,
excuse.
but like not with a movie. It's just like one of those things that like it pops up on the homepage of like one of those like not legal sites to watch anime on, and you click on it and you're like, oh, so pretty, and like you get like 2 minutes in and you realize the subtitles aren't coming up,
No.
but you're already invested.
No, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I'd have been looking for them. What did he just say? Like the first time his mouth opened.
How do you get invested 2 minutes in?
Makes no sense.
You don't know what they're saying. How are you invested?
Like sometimes they have like a really long
No
intro,
speaking.
no speaking of no intro. So you see the story of everything that's going on and like his normal life, and you get a hint. Oh, maybe something weird is going on, and then
start
somebody
talking.
speaks, and you're like, maybe the subtitles are late. I'll wait a little bit longer.
Okay.
And you're in it, baby. You're in it for the long haul.
Okay, Rose.
We should reset that. I want to just point out, yeah, so leveling thing, dude.
Yeah, so on the related topic of our thoughts on things.
Nice segue.
Yeah. As you mentioned how you like to consume long content. And I was thinking about it while you were talking. I was like, I have no clue what I prefer. So I wonder, do you have like a preference of, do you like to like consume series, or do you like to like have a one shot? What do you think?
I think I prefer series because it'll go on for a longer amount of time, and usually they'll answer more questions. You'll see the wrap up to more storylines. But at the same time, like I'll be like episode 5, and I'll scroll down and see how many episodes I've like, dang it,
No.
dang it. So that I get frustrated by the fact that there's more, but at the same time I'm like, I need more, because by the end of it I'm just gonna be like, where's the sequel? When's it coming out? Help me. I need my fix.
I think it depends on when I find out how long it is for me. Because if I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, when I think of starting a show, if you just tell me, hey, this show's really good, it's got 55 episodes, I'd be like, I don't know if I want to start that.
Yeah, same.
Because I know that once I get invested, I'm gonna want to watch it. And there was a time where I had no self-control, and much like you, would just like sit and watch episode after episode. I remember when I was reading Twilight, I was literally like, I had to go to school. I just wanted to finish. Let me just get to the next page. I was walking out the door with the book because like I can't put it down. Like I had no self-control. So
Yeah, you really had a phase there. I remember that.
yeah, Twilight. But so I kind of cut myself off cold turkey because I was almost into anime like you guys, like before you. I started with the comics, and there was this one comic I loved it so much. It was like this guy had this powers, like this super dark, really crazy, like amazing storyline.
I think you had mentioned
I talked about
finding
this
it at the library.
No, it wasn't at library. It was an online webcomic that I was following.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I could not put it down, and I was like, I think I have a problem. And I literally, like, that day, I was like, no more, and I cut it off. And it's the same way I quit soap operas, because I also got into soap operas at one point. But I just, like, I quit it. It's because I find it difficult to stop watching a series or like just put it down.
Yeah.
Now it's better. Like I was able to watch Mob Psycho a couple episodes at a time. But so I think, so when I think about that, if somebody tells me 55 episodes, I find it hard to like, just because of my past experiences and trauma, I guess, I find it hard to like start it. But if I thought about, say you told me we're into Demon Slayer, how far we are right now, and you said, you know, there's like another 100 episodes of this manga, I'd be like, yes. I'd be excited because I'm in it now. I'm already excited about it, and I'm able to like put it down and pick it up. I've already proved to myself I can do that. So I trust myself to be like, yeah, I want to get into it. Like Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
Once I got into it, I didn't know how many episodes it was until you guys told me, like when we restarted it on the channel. So I guess that's my...
I think for me, it might depend a lot on how many episodes. Because when you tell me a long series, I'm thinking of like 26, maybe 36 episodes when I think of a long series. But I like some of the K-dramas, or even like Chinese dramas. If I see any number more than 2 in the tens place, I'm gone. I can't do it.
Oh, I see. Like 13, 14, 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like some of them, like I see the number 40. Here's the issue with those is that like
Oh, I see what you're saying.
their hook is like this girl is falling in love with this guy, and also this other stuff is happening. That thing will stretch out for 40 episodes. So by episode 26, you're like, how has this not happened yet? How have they not fallen in love yet?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I remember watching one on like a contract marriage where like he needed to get married to like get the inheritance or whatever, and she needed money, so they like did the contract, and like it was like 50 something episodes. They clearly liked each other after 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Episode 30, they're still trying to figure it out. What's going on?
It's the money.
I just couldn't do it anymore. I just started. What usually happens is I give up after like 16 episodes, and I just start skipping like every 10, and just be like, okay, how does this end? It ends exactly how you'd expect it to after episode 18. Like this could have ended, you know, at like episode 20 or something. But yeah.
Yeah, the purpose of drama is just for drama. That's why, like, if I know an author, then I'll do it. Because I know this guy has the ability to interweave the story with plenty of subplots and make it interesting the entire way through.
Yeah.
But, like, I remember Anthony Horowitz was the first author I think I recognized I went for his books with Alex Rider series. I liked his books because I knew that he had the ability to just take a character, put him in multiple situations, and make every single issue very, very exciting and very interesting, and change the story, but also keep the core going that entire time. And so I kept that mentality when I started looking for like manga and stuff. And I can do long form manga way easier than anime as a result. With anime, you can't really afford to skip 20 episodes.
That's true.
You
something
can't
like that.
speed read it
You
either.
can't speed read it either.
You miss a lot.
Yeah. Overall, I do prefer longer form stuff. Usually manga, not necessarily anime.
Well, even then, like I wonder, like I don't know, like, maybe it's just the genre. Like you had mentioned Hunter x Hunter. Like that it's an adventure genre. Like the whole thing is the adventure. It's like seeing what happens, how you solve this little part of the adventure, and then you go off to a new adventure. I'm fine with that being like as long as Hunter x Hunter was like 100 and something episodes.
Yeah.
So like maybe
point.
it's like the more fantasy based stuff I'm okay with. Drama based stuff, like the drama has to end at some point.
It has to end
It's gotta
quickly.
end, you know.
Fantasy inherently is very inventive as well with the storyline.
That's true, and you can also kind of expect more surprises
Yeah.
because it's made up. They can do anything at any moment, versus like the more realistic things or drama based that are usually based in high school. You know, they're like only so many things can happen in high school.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna sprout wings.
That isekai invasion is what kind of brought the fantasy genre in manga down a little bit in terms of quality. But even still, I do still love isekais more than most genres in anime. I mean, in mangas. Like if you just do the regular, it's high school romance kind of thing in manga, it's you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's true. At least the isekai tries to give you something novel to think about.
Usually, yeah.
For at least for the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hook tends to be way better.
Yeah.
Way better than
Initially.
the actual execution. Yeah. Yeah. The amount of isekais that I've read, like specifically romance isekais, of course, that I'm like, you could have this could have been so much better. You started off really strong, my
Yeah.
friend.
It was all a ruse.
No.
I loved it if it was a ruse.
But they're like exactly predictable. You know?
Yeah, and the thing about Solo Leveling, by the way, before I wrap up, I wanted to bring up is the art style is so deceptive, and I like it because the thing is, I would have preferred if the art style was a bit more higher quality. Sure, I'll always take that. But when you looked at it, or rather, when I looked at it, I was expecting a very somewhat low budget
Yes.
anime. I was like, this has so much hype. I was
Yes.
really expecting a bit more out of it.
Yes.
And then the fighting starts.
Yes.
And the blood and the
Yes.
gore that's going on and start eating
Yes.
people. I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? And then later on in the episode when he's actually getting attacked and trying to dodge out of the way, like in episode 2 with the dogs and stuff like that, the movement is so fluid and natural and it looks so realistic. It's just like the animation is actually S tier. The art is like A.
Yeah.
Maybe even B plus.
That's true. Yeah.
Which I don't know how
Why?
they've hit that balance. I mean, I guess they're trying to follow the manhwa.
I was gonna say maybe they're trying to bridge the gap a little bit, like maybe because especially. I don't know why I'm so fascinated by the fact that it's still Korean names, but I mean it's important they're names, right? But they're trying to bridge the gap between the people who are used to Korean style, you know, storyline and story beats and all that into the anime world. So they're kind of like, let's kind of do a in between style of art, and then throw the anime amazing action. What is it? Animation scenes. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. It's just I'm really impressed with it so far.
Same. Yeah.
We saw the blue guy smile, the stretch on the face, and
Yeah.
the
Oh,
imagery
yeah,
was just
yeah.
really, really memorable.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna forget that face. That was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for more moments like that, and I'm wondering if they're saving it for when the moments pop off.
I saw a couple more moments of that in the last episode with the big snake fight. When he he glowed blue.
Yeah.
And also the scene that I chose for this thumbnail where he was like going crazy, like flying in the air, holding like, you know, doing his thing that I
Yeah.
don't want to ruin scene for. I really enjoyed that. That was, but then again, you could say that was the animation. But I still enjoyed the way they portrayed those particular scenes. That especially the still moment where when he glowed blue, it reminded me. I think I said in the episode of the screenshot I saw from the old anime, the manhwa. So I don't know. I hope that they like you said. I wonder if like that statue thing, because you said it was a meme. I
Yeah.
wonder if they just did that one like really, really, really well, kind of like SpongeBob. You know, they did that scene because they know that's the scene that a lot of people are looking forward to.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, in the very best way, the show is like a wolf in sheep's clothing, where the animation is really good, the story is very good, everything about this is really good. The art looks somewhat generic to me.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for it to kick up because I know it can kick up. And I know it has to have, because this manhwa was popular for how good it looked. So I know it has to at some point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited to see where Solo Leveling goes.
Yeah, I love it so far. It's great.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they're doing well so far with it. So I fingers crossed they keep the fans happy.
Yeah.
I'm loving this. And if this is just supposed to be the ramp up, I can't wait to see what it's like at the peak, because I haven't even seen the overall arcing enemy yet.
Yeah.
Like they've hinted at maybe the association, maybe the other Hunters Guild, maybe we challenge the blonde haired lady.
Yeah.
I don't know where we're heading with this,
Yeah.
but I'm enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
One thing that I've noticed that manhwa tends to be really good at is like delaying the arrival of an antagonist until way longer, and you're not like bored. You're not bored waiting for it. Like
Never noticed.
yeah, I at least again I'm watching like otome centric romance isekais.
What is Otome centric?
Girl centric.
for girls?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen way more than I have, so you would know.
Yes, my bookmarks are bursting.
Can't keep up.
So many, and I'm considering getting a plugin just to like manage my bookmarks. It's bad, and they're just all like isekais, and the manhwas.
You know, I'm so glad to have people like you guys who are just willing to sit and watch these shows.
So that they can tell you about
yes,
it.
no, so that we can have something to watch on the channel.
That too.
I can't imagine going into this channel not knowing anything about anime.
Yeah, right?
We would see
I'm
so
sure
much
you-
crap. We would see so much.
I'm sure there's people who've done it.
I've seen a couple of channels where they've seen some anime that I could see they weren't really jiving with, but they stuck with it. But so I have a question for you. So when
Yes.
you watch manga, is it
Manhwa.
that or manga or manhwa? When you bookmark them, are you bookmarking them because you're waiting for them to update? And if so, why are you searching for more?
Dude, it's an addiction. I don't know what to tell you.
Because I'm just saying that because when I go out to watch manga or manhwa on YouTube, the people who do like the read-alongs or whatever, they're very on top of, oh, this thing just came out, and they read like first 5 chapters. It's like, we're gonna have to wait for more to come out before we see it. And this thing updates once a month. I hate that.
Yeah.
So I've recently started to slow down on going to them in terms of like subscribing and seeing the latest thing they do. I go into their oldest and see what they did there because
So you can
I
watch
can't,
everything.
Yeah, I want to see stuff that's completed. I don't want to go there and then
We'll have to
we're halfway
wait.
through. I'm not about that.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait weekly.
He's not about that
I
life,
have
guys.
one manga that I watch weekly, manhwa rather. It's The Reincarnated Surgeon, and it's really annoying when you read one chapter. It's like we started the plot point. Next one, we took one step towards the plot point.
Yeah.
Next one step.
Yeah.
Just get to it. You know.
I remember those days.
I hate it. So it's
hate
like
it too.
That's
why I don't
That's why
bookmark
you
them.
get more. So that you read one, you're like, oh no, I want more. I'll just watch the next one that just updated more, and then it keeps feeding into it because it's an unfinished cycle.
Here's the
You need
thing.
to try and finish it.
At the most, I had 4 at one point in time that I was checking. It got to the point where between the delays and going between some of them like once a month updating and once every 2 weeks updating, I didn't know what was happening anymore. I'd go down the list.
Yeah.
And by the end of the last one, I'm like, wait, what was happening? I have to go back a few times
Yeah.
to see what's happening. I wasn't enjoying it anymore.
Yeah.
When I want to read the book and be able to go to the next page and pick it up next where I left off. So I've read plenty of them, but I've completed all of them.
Doesn't happen to me.
I know, because you go to ones that aren't finished.
Because like when I start the watching it again, like my brain immediately goes like, okay, this is everything that happened previously.
Wow.
You are pretty good at that.
Yeah.
And-
Amazing memories.
But the thing is, if I'm not watching it, my brain is like, get out of here. It's like, dump that into the ocean. I don't need it right now.
We've had
But
plenty of.
if I'm watching it, I remember exactly what's happening. And there's some that stick with me like the whole week. Like right now, it's I don't know what the official title, but it's the translated version. It's called I Thought It Was a Common Possession, which means she thought she was in a regular isekai story, but everything is slightly different, and she's like in danger. But she thought it was just going to be a common, and she'd be happy. She's changed the story a little bit, and she'd be have a happily ever after with a husband and everything. It doesn't happen that way, but yeah. So it's uncommon for her. But that's like one of the ones that play in my head constantly. Like everyone was just like, when's the next one coming out?
What happened next?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that, but I just can't stand that feeling for too long. But the thing is, like, we could be talking about an anime that you've seen, and you don't even know what it is, but if we give you enough information, it'll all snap for you,
Yeah.
and you'll know the beginning, middle, end.
Yeah.
But you need that little jump start to remember what it is.
What are you talking about? Ah, yeah.
Because we've got so many.
Yeah. It's like I have to flip through my wikis.
Yes. Going through the cabinet files.
Yes. Was the main character blonde? No, not that guy.
But I think that's it, though.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much for being here. Guys, if you liked your time here, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more. Remember, you can see the uncut version of anything that we do in weeks ahead for other animes that we do with Patreon down below, as well as seeing these podcasts 2 weeks ahead. Thank you very much. We'll see you, City. Goodbye.
Bye.